ladies and gentlemen. Today we have two specific topics that we need to consume and just, decipher because Aunty Millie has been trending. Aunty Millie and her situation, of course, you guys might we're not really going to, specify, but we're going to be talking about that particular situation. Also, the president, our beloved President Hakainde Hichilema. President Hichilema did have a national address today, and we're going to be talking about a few of the amazing points and the things that we got from that particular address. Wosikufele.
Well, thank you very much. Hopefully you are good. Now today we, just as you mentioned, we're looking at Millie Beauty as well as, had divorce case which has set the internet ablaze, and a lot of people are reacting. Aunty Ira is one of the people, as well as Alice Roland Musukwa all the way Kumangalande. She did go live and gave it an hour worth of content. So not wasting much of your time. So for those that don't know, Millie Beauty is an entrepreneur as well as a socialite, somebody who's very famous on social media and somebody who's doing very well in the business sector. So she did recently go through a divorce, and she did part ways with her then husband, Mr. Mulwanda. I really do have a hard time pronouncing his first name, the one which starts with the letter V, so I'll just say Mr. Mulwanda rather. And we did see all this unfold on social media. The relationship started on social media, and unfortunately it ended in the courts of law, with social media being the witness. So now the question that we're asking is, should relationships be publicized on social media?
Oh man, now that's a very tough question, because now people are going to be afraid to put their significant other online. So your question is, should relationships be publicized on social media? Well, personally, I think minimization should be implemented. You need to be very wary, and you need to be conscious of what you're putting out there, especially when you let people get into those intricate details of your life, because we all need some privacy to remain sane. You can't really have everything out there, so this is one of the reasons why a level of privacy is actually advocated for, because quite all right, it might start very well, people might be feeling your relationship, but along the line, right, the hate always outweighs the love, and sometimes that can really get to affect your relationship. So just getting back to your question, yes, you can put your relationship in the out there, but just have a level of privacy. There are certain boundaries you're not supposed to cross. Certain thresholds you should always deem very sacred to you and your significant other.
So now, watching Millie's and Millie's relationship unfold on social media, it's unfortunate that we are using her as an example, but we can't run away from it. This is a trending topic in Zambia currently. Now, their relationship was somewhat of a taboo relationship, where Aunty Millie was quite older than the husband, Mr. Mulwanda. He was young, and Aunty Millie was older. Some refer to him as a Ben 10. So, having said that and having established that fact, was this marriage bound to fail?
Well, it's a very tricky situation, and just like you said, right, we do not really specifically want to target, Aunty Millie and the gentleman, because obviously this is a public relationship, but we can draw lessons from this particular debacle. First of all, you gave a very specific term, which is, a Ben 10. So basically a Ben 10 in Zambian culture, probably African culture, is a younger man who is obviously having lesser resources than a female, and usually it's a young man dating an older woman who has more resources and is significantly established than him. So if you look at the dynamics of a successful relationship, right, obviously there has to be a level of respect, especially from a female perspective. So usually females tend to submit and respect a male who's actually more knowledgeable he's more emotionally stable, more emotionally mature, physically, mature as well as resources. So a man having resources is obviously something that is going to help your relationship. If you do not really have resources, as much as a girl would love you, they're going to fall out of love, because keeping a family is more than love. It's more than just the word I feel love. That butterfly effect in your stomach. Because sometimes life gets real and you need to pay bills. So this is one of the reasons why, if a man wants to keep a family, right, he has to keep on working towards attaining and getting more resources, and just basically being a well-made and established person. Of course, I'm not saying you just need to have resources in order for you to find love, because there are situations where people start dating while they are young, and then they start building a family together. But that requires a man to be very mature and work extra hard. However, if a man just keeps on being a Ben 10 forever, right, he's going to be disrespected. And men do not love being disrespected. A man wants to feel respected and all that stuff. And the female can only get to respect you to that level. And of course, I'm not really talking about the respect of calling somebody mister. It's those small little things. Like, let's say, for example, she kneels when giving you water. And she just, gives you inondo. And all those little things that really shows signs of gratitude and respect. So a woman can maintain such type of, attitude towards you if you consistently provide and basically have resources and just do all these things. So being a Ben 10 is obviously going to land you in trouble in the long run. So it's all about longevity. So your question was this bound to happen sooner or later? There's a lot of factors that need to be considered. Number one, their relationship helped the business to thrive, because if you remember, right, Aunty Millie did use this particular relationship and the publicity to grow her business and just basically get to expand. So as much as it was sort of entertainment, a business was also sort of booming from this relationship. So you have to look at it from that marketing perspective as well. So just like I keep on telling people, right, sometimes it's very easy to get lost in the sauce, because if you overdo it, because she was seeing the numbers go up. Like every time she would post about her story of how she met this younger man who was very handsome, he was very good looking, and
the narrative was that her products made her look younger, and the younger man
and the younger man sort of
was attracted to her. So a lot of people wanted to use her products if it's working for her.
Everybody, and right now we do have a problem in Zambia where a lot of people are baby mamas. A lot of females are baby mamas, and Millie's story is a very common story, and this is one of the reasons why certain demographics, as far as females are concerned, right, they were gravitating towards Millie Beauty because they are sort of in a similar situation. So she's selling products that claim make skin glow, you look younger, and she had like a real testament, like a real testimonial. That was like a real life review of her products actually working. So if you look at those dynamics, right, there was a lot of things at play. And this is one of the reasons why she obviously used the whole situation to push the agenda even further, put the relationship out there, and it was like building and helping her brand, so obviously along the line but people used to say a lot of bad things, and as a person you can only take as much, because a lot of people really used to criticize her and the gentleman. So this is one of the reasons why eventually it's going to get to you, because even for us personally, the comments get to us. They do get to us. Now, can you imagine years and years and years of onslaught? People just telling you're a Ben 10, you're married to her just because you need resources. Of course it's going to get at you, and also from a female perspective, just like I explained to you, right, the issue of resources, you keeping a man, you're not going to have that level of respect, and there's going to be a threshold that is not going to be broken. You're going to sort of crack, and there's going to be disagreements, but of course I'm not really going to talk about the claims from both parties, because each party has got like a different narrative with regards to why the separation occurred. That's not really for me to judge, and I don't even want to like go into those particular details, because that's up to them, and honestly, I do not really care. So my main concern is what can we teach the younger men, and basically even females, from this particular situation? What lessons can we learn from this particular situation? So what's your whole point? How do you see things?
Yeah, I think let's not get carried away with social media. I think that's one of the most important point that I would get, or lesson that I would learn from this couple. And I must say, people are starting to use social media a bit better. We did have a frenzy where, it was a whole girl situation where we had the likes of Mrs. Kennedy, Aunty era situation, Ziba Midi, Avena Alice, but then looking at, how these, individuals are maturing, we're seeing less of Mrs. Kennedy on social media. Yeah. We, at some point we had to, we started seeing less of Millie, and even Alice, we saw less of her, and we saw, a more business aside of her, modeling and whatnot. So let's not always put everything on social media, and let's try to choose what can go on social media. This can go on social media, that cannot go on social media, Yeah. So it's a very important lesson that we learn, that not everything is supposed to go on social media, because just a bit of away from the topic, I was thinking in the morning of writing a post of something saying I wanted to write something inspirational. Then I realized people on social media or on Facebook don't want to read something inspirational. They want to read scandals. They want to read something that they can laugh on. They want to bully other people. So if you put your relationship online like that, expose yourself, just know that you are opening the door to a lot of criticism, a lot of people coming into your business, and actually not only coming but thinking they have a right to an opinion, because that's what happened. We all had a right to air out our opinion on Millie Beauty's marriage. Each time they were fighting, it was on social media, Mr. Mulwanda, after allegedly being beaten by Millie, and her relatives would post pictures on social media, vice versa, Millie would do the same. So now that became an open public discussion where everybody thought thought they were entitled to have an opinion. So if you want your relationship to be in a spotlight and everybody having an opinion, take it to social media. But I feel if you want to live a far less stress-free life, especially if you are a celebrity, if you're a socialite, you are famous, you've got over 200,000 subscribers on Facebook, don't do that.
Exactly. And Africa is a little bit different from how things are done in other countries like America, because we have seen reality TV shows based on families, and even on YouTube, it was a popular thing back in the day where we had relationship goals, and couples basically getting to build their brand and their businesses, being a family, the lovey-dovey type of situation. But when it comes to Africa, right, using that formula is a little bit it's a little bit complicated, because we are traditionally oriented type of people. So let's say, for example, your family as a man would want you to have a woman who conducts herself respectfully. She doesn't have to putting on short stuff and just exposing herself. So even though you want to build a business, right, and you've got like this couple type of business, your family is obviously going to have a lot to say about how your woman is conducting herself, etc. So this is one of the reasons why I do get it. I do understand why this particular situation sort of escalated, because number one, they were making more money together as a brand, and the whole selling of the image of the business, it was really making sense. My products are so good, and I'm able to attract young hot guys, and she ended up expanding her businesses, etc. But when you go back to bed and you get back to reality, when the cameras are off, reality hits. There's no respect as a young man. You're not really feeling that sort of respect, and you don't feel like you have a say. Of course, you can't really have a say because you've got less resources, and you're probably being, kept by a female.
Yeah, sorry to cut you short. So what I'm trying to understand is, okay, from the business aspect, it was a good move. It was a good move. So
while it
lasted. So now, what I'm getting there is that communication was, there was somehow of a communication breakdown. So personally, if I'm doing something from a business point of view, I need to communicate with the other person. We both have to sit down and say, "Ish, my guy, this is only for business purposes. If it's lasting, then let's do this for 3 years,
Exactly.
and let's do this, and then also outline the do's and don'ts. Oh, okay, so this is just this. Let's not have kids, But then now, if it's a contract and it's just for business.
By the way, we're not trying to say that this was the arrangement with Millie and Mr. Mulwanda. No, this is not what we're saying. We're just saying, in case you want your business to blow up in that way, you need to come up with a contract. You need to sign a waiver saying, okay, this is how we're going to build as a brand, as a couple, and these are the types of rules that we're going to have. Because it's very easy to get lost in the sauce. And I like using this phrase, getting lost in the sauce. Just like, anyway, let me not go there. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, so just like you said, outline do's and don'ts, duration, so that it's easier for you to get out of it at the end of the day without a little bit under the radar. Obviously, you might do like a final script, let's end this in a dramatic fashion, and you do that. But then in this case, it's a whole situation where it was feelings involved, it was love involved, it was kids involved, so it just became messy, and that's as adults, as Zambians, we should learn from this and tell the next couple to do things better. If you're falling in love and you're in love genuinely and truly, this and this is how to do things. If you're a man, you can learn from it. Okay, what did this gentleman do wrong? If you're a female, what did this lady do wrong? So there are so many things that we can learn from this situation. But one thing that I must emphasize on is, let's not bully Aunty Millie, because situations are real. People are falling into depression easily, so let's not take it upon now to kick her while she's down, as well as the gentleman as well. If we can respect their privacy, and hopefully they also respect their privacy. You might respect people's privacy, but so that's something right there. And the other thing that I would also, want to ask you is, let's say the gentleman, because there are some sections of, social media that are reporting that the gentleman is saying that, he was abused in the relationship. And now go back to the aspect of Ben 10. Are you seeing this as a popular trend? Younger guys getting into relationships with older women for financial benefits?
Yeah, so you asked two questions at once, right? So number one, about the abuse. So just like I said, right, we're trying to stay out of trouble, all those legal lawsuits and all that stuff. So we're trying to avoid that. But according to allegedly reported material, there are claims that the young man was obviously abused. So getting back to your question about younger males going out with older women for resources, so it does happen in society, and it's something that is a norm, and there are people who are going to be doing this, but it also depends on the females, because sometimes females do get desperate, especially when the go above a certain threshold, because guys usually love the younger, hotter women, and then when the woman has got 1, 2, 3 kids, plenty marriages, a lot of seasoned And I'm using the word seasoned, males, veterans, alpha males. They tend to avoid such type of women. And then a young desperate man who is obviously having financial problems and doesn't really have enough resources, he will have no other option but to see this as a very easy way to sort of put himself on a high pedestal. But what usually happens is, obviously, things happen. Emotions get involved, babies are created, and then your plan as a young man was, okay, let me just use this as a leak, and then when I'm done, boom, I'm out of there. But life is created. What do you get to do? Now you are entangled or attached to this particular female who you just wanted to like use as a stepping stone to go to another place. I mean, to be honest, it's all about understanding as a young man that, obviously when you're starting out, it's going to be very hard, and you have to hustle. And I really feel going that route is a very easy way to get out of problems and situations. For a female, I do understand, like females are sort of valuable in different ways as compared to a man. As a man, you're not supposed to be using your sex appeal and your whatever looks to, get to females or get money. As a man, you're supposed to be hustling. You're supposed to be, like doing manly things, and getting resources is a manly thing. You understand? So even if you look at history, right, a long time ago, right, even though we didn't really have, fiat currency in terms of paper money, right, we had, farmers, we had hunters, men who would go out there and kill the biggest, elephant. So those men back in the day were the most attractive, and they were the big boys of that time. It was all about having the biggest farm, being very strong, running and chasing after animals. So that falls under resources. It's all about resources. The more resources a man has, the more valuable he is. So as a young man, if you're out there and you're trying to use the easy route, of course you can easily get entangled in such situations, find yourself a sugar mama, get your money, but it's going to be complicated for you. Number one, you're not going to be respected because you do not really have resources as a man, and a man is only as valuable as the resources he provides and the security and how useful he is. So if the only thing that you can do is, provide your stick, then I'm sure you're not really going to get any respect. Of course, you can get respect in bed, but that only lasts like 1 or 2 hours. Then the rest of the month, what are you going to be doing? The rest of the week, you're going to be disrespected. You're going to be hit, slapped, and all that stuff because you are not really providing and, being a man, if I can put it that way. So that's that.
Yeah. So make sure that you do leave a comment in the comment section below. Is this growing or becoming a trend? Younger men getting married to older women for financial gains. Make sure that you do leave that conversation, or rather that comment, in the comment section below. And should relationships be publicized on social media? Now, running away a bit from the whole Aunty Millie and Mr. Mulwanda fiasco and situation.
Before we run away to another topic, right? We need to remind the viewers to share this video. Kindly share this video. I mean, if you did watch up to this particular video part or moment, kindly share this video. Tag as many people as you can, and remember to rebroadcast, or rather reshare, or rather share this video in 5 different Facebook groups that you belong to, because we definitely need your support. We are asking for you to support us, and one of the ways that you can support us is liking our video, tagging as many people as you can, and sharing our content as well. So if you're watching us on YouTube, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on Facebook, follow us and turn on all post notifications so that every time we're here, you guys can get notified. So before we go to other topics, right? We're even running out of time. I can see we only have about 5 minutes. So we're not going to talk about President Haka in the Hichilema.
No, Chet. Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Since we're in the topic of marriage, just like a really quick one. Young couples, marriage, and dates. Why are young couples getting into date when you can only spend less than 1,000 kwacha for your marriage certificate?
Exactly. In Congole, a lot of young couples, this is also one of the leading reasons why the divorce rate is pretty rampant. Because number one, everybody wants to create a facade. Everybody wants to create this illusion that, okay, we had the biggest, finest amateveto wedding and all that stuff, and they are getting into debt. Believe you me, I have a lot of peers, a lot of classmates, a lot of colleagues who have been, obtaining a lot of loans just for them to, make sure that the wedding is done. So what usually happens is, okay, when that wedding is done, right, you are remaining with a lot of, loans that you need to pay back, and then your livelihoods get affected. So what's the point of having a very lavish wedding amateveto and then remain with the burden of a lot of
after
loans?
Everybody has eaten your food, they
Exactly,
go and you can't call them and say
yeah. So coming back to the issue of resources, if you get into a marriage with a lot of debt and with a lot of burdens, right? Obviously, your relationship is going to be affected. As a woman, you're going to be like, to few you're always struggling and all that stuff.
Fights,
and then, the fights, the disrespect as a man.
You want Brazilian, nothing is coming.
Nothing is coming. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, but we have a cheaper alternative at the at any municipal council. Yeah. How much does it cost to legally get married?
According to the research that we did, it costs not more than 1,000 kwacha, 500 kwacha to be specific. So that's the least minimum amount you can pay for your marriage certificate. And if there are other options, I don't think that's more than 1,000 kwacha. That's basically like $2 witness. Just transportation.
Exactly.
Civic
transportation,
center.
Family members. You pay that 1,500 kwacha. You get legally married. But a lot of people want to create an illusion, and it's more like, I don't know, man. It's just weird. So we have to analyze and re-strategize the way that we do things. Otherwise, it will always be ending up in tears. Anyway, we're running out of time. Just conclude this.
Yeah. So please make sure that you do comment. Is it, why is it that we have to hold huge white weddings and remain in data just for us to have a wedding? Is it a must that you should have a fancy and a lavish wedding, even if you can't afford it? Leave all your comments, share, subscribe, tell somebody. Muna and Siku, we are live on Z Corner TV right here. So we are saying our goodbyes until the next episode.